Hello everyone and welcome to F1 2016. The game is finally here, the game that has been incredibly talked about with all its new features and hopefully what should be the best Codemasters Formula 1 game we've ever seen. Now before we do get into this video, I'm going to leave the formation lap in the start of this video just to go through a few little things. Unfortunately the qualifying file actually corrupted. There was nothing special in it though, I won't lie. Basically what happened was we went out on our outlap in the rain and Haryanto just came and completely destroyed us. I was really disappointed that it didn't save, just to watch Haryanto just completely go into the back of us for no apparent reason. Therefore we span out and that was qualifying over. We started from last. Now just a few other things I would like to say beforehand whilst we are on this formation lap is just with all this controversy about when Codemasters are allowing people to upload their footage, all the top 4 F1 YouTubers aren't allowed to upload their footage until tomorrow because they have special agreements with Codemasters about how the fact their actual publicity for Codemasters and is it Koch Media or whatever it's called? So they're not allowed to upload their full race. They're not allowed to upload their footage yet until tomorrow at 8:01 AM British summertime. Everyone else, though, is allowed to upload whenever they want, so there was lots of controversy about Alex Zafra uploading his footage, but that is all absolutely fine, hence why I'm uploading my footage today. If you aren't already, guys, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Currently trying to hit 500 subscribers on the channel, so if you guys could contribute to that, that would be massively appreciated. Also, hit that like button as well. If you do have any questions about the game, for example, if you haven't got yours yet, I make sure to answer every single comment, so make sure you do leave your questions if you do in fact have any. But for now, the warm-up lap was incredibly odd. It was just interesting almost, because obviously for like all the F1 YouTubers and stuff that have done it like 3 or 4 times, or however many times in the beta and preview and things, obviously this is nothing to them, but obviously as it's the first time, it was pretty damn interesting to say the least. Obviously you're trying to get the tyres warmed up, you're trying to get the brakes warmed up, you're also trying to avoid Haryanto from wiping me out once again. I think at one point during this formation lap I do get incredibly close to him. But there's also a bit of strategy and mind games going on with all this, because I know about this point in the lap, I was thinking to myself, if I park far enough behind but don't get all this stopped on track and 2 slow warnings as I take out a bollard there, I can actually get all the front runners, their tyres to go cold as they're parked on the grid waiting for me. So there's a little bit of strategy and mind games going on there as well. Obviously with only 2 more corners of this formation lap to go, I was thinking, oh, they'll probably try and penalise me or something, because obviously I don't want to make too many risks with my first race on this new game. I'm also far more worried about jumping the start or basically stalling off the start, which I was just praying would not happen on this formation lap. But as you can see at this point now, it says reforming grid for race start standby, which obviously means the game automates the rolling start for you. It gets you in the right grid slot so that you can't jump the start or miss your grid box, which I probably would have done if it weren't for the game taking over control here. But obviously the starts are the new special thing of this Formula 1 game. We will see it loads back out and back into the game almost instantly here. So I've got a hold in the clutch is actually your first gear, 5 lights, and away we go for the first ever race of the F1 2016 career mode. As we can see there, Palmer gets a terrible start just up ahead. Verline actually gets an incredible start just in front of us there as we try and go up the inside of Haryanto on the inside there. As you can see, on this turn 1, everyone is so cautious on the inside there. I just wanted to hold it on the outside of turn 2. Just make sure I got a good run down the back straight. Hopefully going to try and get a good run into turn 3. Dive bomb nearly everyone almost accidentally there. But we do move up into P15 there actually. Perez also had an incredibly poor qualifying there. And he's down into P17 already. So that is one of our aims from this first race. Is to beat Sergio Perez and also finish P15 in the race. Which I thought, you know, that should be fairly easy. But we'll have to wait and see. Moving on to lap 3 though, as you can see, we are between Magnussen and Alonso. And coming through the fast chicane, we do run it a little bit wide there. Alonso's managed to go around the outside. He gets incredibly close there, which I was a bit surprised by. I think we did almost make contact there, if I'm not mistaken. We might have just skimmed end plates. But I was a bit worried and also quite surprised just how close Alonso did in fact actually get to the end plate of our car there. It was good to see the AI had a bit of aggression, because I know a lot of people were moaning that the AI just weren't aggressive enough. But moving on to lap 5 here, as you can see, There still seemed to be a little bit of train of cars going on up ahead of us. Green flags are right, so there must have been an incident a little bit beforehand. But as you can see, we've got Alonso, Magnussen and Gutierrez just parked here for no apparent reason. Unfortunately here as well, you can see we made the tiniest bit of contact with Gutierrez there. And that completely knocks our front end plate off, which was a huge, huge shame. The damage model on this game is so realistic. If you dare to skim another car, you pretty much do get damage. So coming in for our first pit stop of the day, make sure we don't obviously jump it. We are incredibly, I think we clocked 23 miles an hour coming into the pit lane there, which was probably a little bit lower than it needed to be. We are actually going to move on to the super soft tyres here. Just see, obviously, this is also a bit of an experimental race as well. Just trying to make sure that, obviously, we are suited to all the different tyres so we're not caught out when it desperately is needed. So we move on to the super softs here. We are back down, unfortunately. I think by the time we come out the pits, we are in P21. With only Gutierrez behind us, but he has a lot of issues as we come further on into this race that you may find out about. But down in P21 at this point, behind Marcus Ericsson, a few other drivers have had to make pit stops so far, such as Sergio Perez, my teammate, but he is on a completely different strategy to us. Moving on, as you can see now, we are back into P15, as obviously just different drivers have had their pit stops this one. But as you can see as well, for the eagle-eyed viewers there are only 20 drivers left in this Grand Prix. Button and Gutierrez have unfortunately both had engine problems at exactly the same corner, which is a bit odd to see. Obviously, it will be a bit automated. But as you can see there as well, the team are asking me if I want to change strategy right when I've got a very feisty Nico Rosberg on my tail. So I try and make him go very much into a shallow line through turn 1 there. Going to maximise my run at the corner, try and hold it alongside us. Obviously, this Mercedes power unit versus Mercedes power unit, but obviously the Mercedes car is just the quickest car on the grid by so much. You can see, once we get into sort of 6th gear there, it just tows so much in comparison to everyone else. But we get a beautiful cutback move here. And coming through turn 5 here, as you can see, it looked like he was right behind us. But unfortunately, he had just kept the front end, just by the side of us there. So I think there's a little bit of uncalibration between the game and the arrows there, which is a bit of a shame. But that has meant we have got a safety car in the first race of the season. We've only ever had a safety car once, I think, on my whole channel, and that was F1 2012. Obviously, so not too long ago, but obviously it's good to see that the safety car are coming back. And an incident like that on F1 2012 would definitely not have brought out the safety car. But that has meant we are going to come in for a pit stop here. Just obviously get on a new set of tyres, because we may as well. It's just a free pit stop, as we are so far down the grid at this point. Everything is just about trying to recover the drive. Whether we can score points or not is probably looking to be a little bit optimistic at this point of the Grand Prix. But we've moved on to the medium tyres here. Obviously, just getting a few little achievements there, like obviously with your first race on the F1 games, they do literally just throw achievements at you like there's no tomorrow. But we have come out in P16 here. And if we move on to a little bit further, as we can see, here is the safety car, just to prove it is in the game there. Hello, Mr. Safety Car. But next up on the footage, actually, I think might be a bit of a glitch here. Because if we move on, you can see we're closing in on Lewis Hamilton here. The safety car is actually coming in at the end of this lap. And Hamilton just isn't closing up to the drivers ahead of him. I don't know what it was. I thought if I try and get alongside him there, just tell him almost to speed up. But I don't know what it was. Hamilton was just not going any quicker. He did not want to reel in the cars ahead of him. I don't know whether he'd exceeded his delta or anything, but as you can see there, we go right alongside him. And obviously we're not going to overtake him because we will get a penalty. But he is just not getting the hurry up. And obviously this would have been a great chance for both of us to get back up against people like Magnussen and Verline at this point. Are actually doing really well. They're in P10 and 11 at this point. So they could be getting points. But the thing is, if we were back up near these cars, we would actually probably be able to get past them incredibly soon. But as you can see here, now the safety car has come in. We're just waiting for the green flags here. We actually get it really poorly timed as we take a lot of curb there. That slows us down. We may have been able to get a good run on Hamilton, but unfortunately that will probably be the last we will see of him for a very long time now, unless he goes on a different pit strategy to us. But as you can see, we did just get caught out slightly. Going to try and take a good line through the fast chicane there, but that hasn't worked out well for us. Just making sure we don't spin out. So we are down in P16 at the moment. But a few laps later, after a lot more drivers have made their pit stops, we are up into P12 at this point, with Magnussen and Verline, like I was talking about. Verline's actually in the points for Manor here, and at the rate this was going at this stage of the Grand Prix, Manor would have been outscoring Mercedes, because we had both Mercedes right behind us. Lewis Hamilton on the super softs is probably going to be impossible to hold behind us for 5 laps. With the tyres and the fuel and the rate, everything was kind of just crumbling in my world around me at this point. Hamilton tries holding it around the outside, but doesn't work well for him. As well, I make an interesting line through the second part of the fast chicane. But at this point, everything is just going up shit creek. Obviously, just bringing out the Australian terms there, as we are at the Australian Grand Prix. Hamilton again is going to try and look around our outside. Whether that's going to work for him this time, no, it is not again. The AI seem to struggle with holding consistent lines around the outside. And then obviously, because I'm running on Legend AI, I forgot to mention this at the start of the Grand Prix. And the AI are a lot more aggressive than I've seen from other people. But they just aren't aggressive there. As Hamilton somehow squeezes around the outside there. That was nearly deadly for us there, as we got a huge slide coming out the corner. The team are just continuously barking at us to change our strategy. I don't really see what difference that's going to make with 3 laps to go. We're never going to be able to regain the time we'll lose from making another pit stop. But Carlos Sainz is now trying to go around our outside. At this point, all we're trying to do is make sure we finish the race in P15. If we let Sainz through, I'm really not too bothered. But just like last time with Lewis Hamilton, he gets held up trying to hold it around the outside. Moving on to lap 28 though, on the penultimate lap here, as you can see, fuel is a huge issue for us. We somehow hold it around the outside of Sainz there, even though we weren't really trying to defend the position. It was more just at this point, we're trying to save our fuel. Hamilton has pulled out about 20 miles in the last 3 corners there, but Sainz is just going to sneak over inside. That does put us in P15. You can see just how much more grip he does have coming out the corner. Nasser is the next car right behind us, but he is also on the medium tyres, so he should be a little bit easier to defend. But moving on to lap 29, as you can see, Kimi Räikkönen has actually won the Grand Prix at this one. And at this point, this is just where everything is going completely wrong. I'm panicking about what's happening. As you can see, Sergio Perez is trying to go around or outside there. He's a lap down. I don't really know what's going on there. Where everyone's getting blue flags because Kimi Räikkönen has finished the Grand Prix. But then he's still racing around at normal race pace, which is really odd. So he's trying to lap people as Perez is trying to unlap himself. It's all getting complicated. Hamilton sits the fastest lap of the Grand Prix just out of nowhere, just proving that Mercedes do still have some pace here. But Sergio, luckily, is going to be able to defend us from Felipe Nasr, who isn't actually the Sauber closest behind us at this point. But the end of this Grand Prix just has been so dramatic. The teams still want me to come in and change strategies, so there's obviously a glitch there. But we are going to come across the line on our first race of the season to lap our teammate Sergio. Actually, well, we didn't lap him in the end. But we come across the line in P15 there from last place on the grid there, getting very, very close to Raikkonen as well. I'm going to leave this video now, obviously, with the points and obviously just all the RMD objectives. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure if you do have any questions about the game that you leave them in the comments. And I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching and goodbye.